Okay, let us continue the discussion for Module 1, the definition of statistical concept and principle. For this time, basic concept of probability naman yung ating i-discuss. So ano ba yung ating learning objective? To understand the basic concept used in statistics and to analyze the basic terms in probability. So again, what is probability? So it is a chance of something will happen. So we have the higher and also the lower probability range from 0 to 1 or 0% to 100%. So si probability, nakadepende siya sa chances. So kung malaki yung chance, syempre malaki yung probability. So definition 1, the set of all possible outcome of a statistical experiment is called the sample space. So yun nga, lahat ng magiging possible outcome ng experiment, tawag sa kanya ay sample space. Then yung kanyang outcome or yung outcome ni sample space, ang tawag naman sa kanya is the element, the member, or the sample point. So pwede siyang tawaging element, member, or the sample point. So if a sample space has a finite number of elements, so we may list the member separated by commas and enclosed in braces. So for example, we have a die. So ano bang magiging possible outcome natin pag nag-throw tayo ng die? So syempre, pwedeng maging outcome is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So wala na tayong 7 kasi yung die ay 1 to 6 lang. So ilalagay lang natin sa braces. So S is equal to open brace, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then close brace. So ganun yung ating pagkuha ng sample space. So another example, so consider an experiment of flipping a coin. What are the possible outcome? So pag nag-flip ng coin, ano naman yung magiging outcome natin? So meron tayong head and also tail. So dalawa lang yung possible outcome natin. Kung ilalagay natin sa sample space, S is equal to open brace, then H para sa head, comma, then T para sa tail, then close brace. So yun yung ating answer. Another example. So an experiment consists of flipping a coin and then flipping it a second time if a head occurs. So if a tail occurs on the first flip, then a die is tossed once. List the possible point. So for this example, kailangan mo munang mag-create or mag-draw ng tree diagram. So para mas madali nating ma-identify o ma-determine yung kanyang sample point. So sabi sa ating example, yung first experiment natin ay nag-flip tayo ng coin. So meaning, yung ating possible outcome ay pwedeng lumabas yung head or yung tail. Then yung ating second experiment, ipi-flip daw natin yung coin kapag lumabas yung head. So insert tayo ng line. So yan. So pag daw yung second experiment natin, kapag lumabas yung head, ipipilip uli yung coin. So ibig sabihin yung ating another sample point or outcome is head and tail. Then, if a tail occurs on the first flip, then a die is tossed once. Kapag naman daw tail yung lumabas, mag-toss naman daw ng die. So, ano ba yung outcome natin pag die? So, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, dito ko na lang ilalagay. So, yung mga outcome niya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, yan. Pwede na natin kunin yung kanyang sample o yung ating sample space or answer. S is equal to open brace. Then, ito. HH, yun ang ating unang outcome, then HT, then T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and T6. Then close brace. So yan, ito yung ating answer dito sa ating example. Meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sample point or 8 possible member or outcomes. So for example number 3, suppose that 3 items are selected at random from a manufacturing process. Each item is inspected and classified defective as D or non-defective N. So list the elements of the sample space. So for this example, so same pa din like nung example number 2, kailangan muna nating mag-draw or mag-create ng tree diagram para mas madali nating ma-identify yung kanyang sample point. So yung first item natin, or for example, isang product, pwede siyang makategorize as defective or non-defective. So ibig sabihin, yung dalawang possible outcome na yun yung ating sample point for the first item. So D for defective and N for non-defective. Then for the second item, so yung ating experiment or first experiment or item 1, pwede siyang makaklasify as defective or non-defective. So ibig sabihin, insert lang tayo ng line. So gawa tayo ng tree diagram. So si defective item, pwede siyang i-classify as defective or non-defective. Then same to non-defective, pwede siyang maging defective or non-defective. So para yun sa second item natin. Yan. Then for third item, so ganun ulit, si defective pwedeng maging defective or non-defective. Then si non-defective pwedeng maging defective or non-defective. Then ilalagay lang natin dito defective, non-defective, defective. So yan, basta defective, non-defective, defective, non-defective. Then ganun ulit. So ilalagay lang natin defective, then non-defective, then last, yan. So pasensya na sa tree diagram. So after nyan, pwede na nating ma-identify yung kanyang mga sample point. So ilalagay lang natin S is equal to open brace. Ito ang una natin, DDD. Then next, DDN, DND, DNN, NDD, NDN, N, 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 D, N, N, N. So, meron tayong 8 na sample points. So, DDD, DDN, DND, DNN, NDD, DDN, NND, and DDD. So, yan. Yan yung ating answer for example number 3. So then we have the sample space with a large or infinite number of sample points are best described by a statement or rule method. So ito naman yung ginagamit natin pag sobrang large na talaga yung ating mga possible outcome or sample points. For example, if the possible outcome of an experiment are the set of cities in the world with a population over 1 million, so syempre, ang daming mga cities sa buong mundo na merong over 1 million population. So baka ubos na yung oras o ubos na yung mga papel mo sa pagsusulat ng mga sample point. So kaya ang ginagawa kapag large or infinite number ay yung statement or rule method. So ito yung kanyang sagot. S is equal to open brace x such that x is a set of city with a population over 1 million. So, included na dyan lahat ng mga city na merong 1 million population. Then another example, if S is a set of all points x, y on the boundary or the interior of circle of radius 2 with center at the origin. So, ibig sabihin yung circle, so start sa origin, ang radius niya ay 2. Then, ang hinahanap natin ay the boundary, yung mismong bilog yung sa circle. Then, the interior, yung nasa loob. So, ano daw yung mga sample point doon? Or ano yung mga x and y coordinates? So, yung answer natin is S is equal to x and y such that x squared plus y squared is less than or equal to 4. So, galing sa x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Ang radius natin is 2. 2 squared is 4. Then, ang hinahanap natin ay the interior. Ang boundary natin ay syempre yung pinaka-boundary niya ay equal to 4. Since 2 yung radius, kaya less than or equal to 4. So, yan yung answer natin pag ganitong infinite yung magiging sample point. So, definition 2. So, an event is a subset of a sample space. So, si event ay galing kay sample space. So, yung mga usually na ginagamit nating variable for event is event A, event B, and event C. So, yun yung ating ginagamit. So, given the sample space S is equal to T, such that T is greater than or equal to 0, where T is the life in years of a certain electronic component, then the event A that the component fails before the end of the 5th year is the subset. So, kung yung component ay mag-fail before the end of the 5th year, then yung ating life in years is greater than or equal to 0, meaning yung event A natin is T such that T is less than or equal to 5 but greater than or equal to 0. So, ganyan yung sa event. So, another example. So, halimbawa, yung ating sample space, nag-throw tayo ng, or nag-throw tayo ng die, wherein ang ating possible outcome is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, halimbawa, sinabi ko na determine event A, where event A are even numbers. So, di ba yung ating sample space sa die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ibig sabihin, yung event A natin is equal to, open brace, alin ba lang dun sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yung even numbers? Yung 2, 4, and 6. So, ganun yung pagkuha ng event na galing siya kay sample space. So, another. So, event B are odd numbers. So, odd numbers, dun mo siya kukunin sa sample space na outcome ng die na 1 to 6. So, ang ating odd number is 1, 3, and 5. So, yun yung ating event. The next, definition 3, the complement of an event A with respect to S is a subset of all elements of S that are not in A. So, we denote the complement of A by the symbol A prime. So, for example, consider the sample space S is equal to book, cell phone, MP3, paper, stationery, and laptop. Then, let event A is equal to the book, stationery, laptop, and paper. So, ibig sabihin yung complement of A or A prime ay yung wala sa A na nandun kay sample space. So, alin ba yung wala kay A? Yung cellphone at MP3. So, yun yung kanyang A complement or A prime. So, another example, halimbawa yung kanina, sabi natin na nag-throw tayo ng die na 1 to 6 yung ating 1 to 6 yung ating sample point or outcome. Then, si event A natin is even numbers. So, yung 2, 4, 6. So, ibig sabihin yung complement ni A ay 1, 3, 5. Yung odd numbers. Then, for event B, na ang nakuha natin is odd numbers na 1, 3, 5. Ang complement naman niya or B complement ay yung wala sa B. Yung 2, 4, 6 or even numbers. So, ganun lang yung complement. Then, definition 4, the intersection of two events A and B denoted by the symbol A intersect B is the event containing all elements that are common to A and B. So, dito naman yung alin ba? Saan ba sila nagkaparehas? So, kung merong nagkaparehas, ibig sabihin merong intersection. So, let E be the event that a person selected at random in a classroom is majoring in engineering. And let event F be the event or that the person is female. Meaning, yung intersection natin ng event E and F is the event of all female engineering student in the classroom. So, yun yung ating E intersect F. So, another, let V or event V is equal to A, E, I, O, U. Yung ating mga vowel letters. And C is equal to L, R, S, T. Then it follows that B intersect C is equal to null set. So, ibig sabihin, pag walang nagkapareha sa event B and event C, so null set yung ating answer. So, ibig sabihin dyan, A and B have no elements in common. Ang tawag dyan ay mutually exclusive. So, yun nga, yung sa definition 5, two events A and B are mutually exclusive or disjoint if A or event A intersect B is equal to the null set. That is, if A and B have no elements in common. So, ito yung ating isang example dyan na madali. Nakita mo naman talaga na walang nagkaparehas. So, ibig sabihin yung ating answer is null set. Then, definition 6. So, the union of the two events A and B denoted by the symbol A union B is the event containing all the elements that belong to A or B or both. So, for example, let event A is equal to ABC and B is equal to BCDE. So, then, A union B is equal to yung lahat. Kukupehin mo lang lahat yung sample point ni A at sample point ni B. So, A, B, C, D, and E. Hindi mo dodoblehin si B. So, isa pa rin yung count niya as sample point. So, ganun lang yung ating pagkuha ng union. So, balikan natin yung example kanina. Ito, yung event B at event C. So, kapag ginawa natin yung B or event B union C, so ibig sabihin ng ating magiging outcome or sample point ay A, E, I, L, O, R, S, T, and U. Or pwede naman na hindi naka-order yung mga letters. Basta lahat ng yan ay kasali. Since yun yung ating tinatanong. So another example, let P be the event that an employee selected at random from an oil drilling company smokes cigarette. So let Q be the event that the employee selected drinks alcoholic beverages. So then, the event P union Q is the set of all employees who either drink or smoke or do both. So yun yung ating union ng event P at saka Q. So proceed tayo sa example. So meron tayong Venn diagram dito. So familiar naman sa Venn diagram. So event A, event B, and event C. So number 1, so determine the following. So letter A union C. So pag sinabi nating union, ito yung kasama or yung outcome na kasama sa A at sa C. Kasama lahat. So ano ba yung ating outcome or sample point ni A? So meron tayong 2, 1, 4, and 7. Then kay C, 1, 3, 5, and 4. So ibig sabihin ng ating answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. So yan yung A union C. The next, proceed tayo sa B complement intersect A. So pag sinabi nating B complement, hindi kasama sa B. So alin ba ang B natin? Ang B natin ay ito. So ibig sabihin ng hindi kasama sa B ay 7, 4, 5. So kunin muna natin. B complement is equal to 7, 4, 5. Then kunin natin si A. Ang event A natin ay ito. 1, 2, 4, and 7. So, ang sabi dito ay intersection between B complement and A. So, alin ba yung nagkapareha sa B complement at si A? So, ibig sabihin, ang answer natin ay equal yung 4. Pareha silang may 4, yun yung ating answer. Then, for A, intersect B, intersect C. So, syempre, ito yung ating answer, yung 1. So, lahat ng event A, B, and C ay common na meron silang sample point na 1. And then last, letter D, A union B intersect sa C complement. So, kunin muna natin si A union B. Kasama sa A, kasama sa B. Alin ba yung mga kasama sa A and kasama sa B? Itong lahat ng to. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Then, ang ating C complement, ang C complement hindi kasama sa C. Kung ito yung ating C, ang hindi kasama ay 7, 2, at 6. 7, 2, and 6. So, intersection yung hinahanap natin. So, common sa A union B at C ay merong 2, merong 6, at merong 7. So, ibig sabihin 2, 6, and 7. So, yan yung ating answer. So, proceed tayo sa counting sample points. So, for theorem number 1, if an operation can be performed in n sub 1 ways, and if for each of these ways, a second operation can be performed in n sub 2 ways, then the two operation can be performed together in n sub 1 times n sub 2 ways. So, madali lang yung sa ating theorem number 1. So, ang formula lang natin is n sub 1 multiply kay n sub 2 or the multiplicative rule. Yun yung ating tawag. So for example, meron tayo dito ng example, how many sample points are there in the sample space when a pair of dice is thrown once? So di ba yung isang die natin, ang sample point niya or yung pwedeng lumabas sa kanya is 1 to 6. So ibig sabihin, n sub 1 is equal to 6. Then another die, since pair of die, ibig sabihin dalawa, ganun din. 1 to 6 din yung ating possible na sample point or outcome. So meaning, kung tinatanong is how many sample point are there in the sample space when a pair of dice, n sub 1 natin para sa isang die is equal to 6 and n sub 2 is equal to 6 din para sa second die. So 6 times 6, meron tayong 36 possible sample point or 36 ways. So yun yung answer for example 1. So meron tayong 36 sample point. Where a new subdivision offers prospective home buyers a choice of Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional exterior styling in ranch, two-story, and split-level floor plans. In how many different ways can a buyer order one of these home? So yung n sub 1 natin, meron tayong type ng exterior style. So yung Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional. 4 yun. Then meron tayong floor plan na ranch, two-story, and split level. So 3. So ibig sabihin 4 na exterior style times 3 na floor plan is equal to 12 different ways. So yung answer natin 4 times 3 is equal to 12. Then another example, if a 22-member club need to elect a chair and a treasurer, how many different ways can this two to be elected? So merong yung N1 natin is 22 members. So ibig sabihin kung masiselect yung isa as chair or chairman, for example, ibig sabihin pag nag-elect ng treasurer, 21 na lang yung pagpipilian natin. Kasi hindi naman pwede na yung isang member ay siya na ang chair, siya ang treasurer. So, isang position for isang member. Kaya, n sub 1 natin is 22 and n sub 1 is 21. So, multiply lang natin, multiplicative rule. So, ano ba yung 22 times 21? So, meron tayong 462 different ways. So, yun yung ating answer. Then, for theorem number 2, if an operation can be performed in n sub 1 ways, and if for each of these a second operation can be performed in n sub 2 ways, and for each of the first two a third operation can be performed in n sub 3 ways, and so forth, then the sequence of k operation can be performed in n sub 1, n sub 2 times up to n sub k ways. So, siya ay multiplicative rule lang din, kaso hindi lang siya n sub 1, n sub 2. Pwedeng hanggang n sub 3, hanggang n sub 4, up to n sub k. Example, so Sam is going to assemble a computer by himself. So he has the choice of chips from 2 brands, a hard drive from 4, memory from 3, and an accessory bundle from 5 local stores. So how many different ways can Sam order the parts? So for n sub 1, meron tayong 2 brands. So n sub 1 is equal to 2. Then n sub 2 natin, for hard drive, meron tayong 4. Then n sub 3 natin ay for memory, meron tayong 3. And meron tayong n sub 4 na 5 local store. So ibig sabihin yung ating theorem number 2, n sub 1 times n sub 2 times n sub 3 times n sub 4, or how many different ways can Sam order the part? So 2 times 4 times 3 times 5 equal to 120 different ways. Then another example. So a drug for the relief of asthma can be purchased from 5 different manufacturers in liquid, tablet, or capsule form, all of which come in regular and extra strength. So how many different ways can a doctor prescribe the drug for a patient suffering from asthma? So, n sub 1 natin, meron tayong 5 manufacturing. N sub 2, meron siyang tatlong form, yung liquid, tablet, and capsule. And N sub 3 natin ay meron tayong dalawang type, the regular and the extra strength. So, yung solution natin, N sub 1 times N sub 2 times N sub 3 or 5 times 3 times 2 equal to 30 different ways. So, yun yung ating answer. Then for theorem number 3, so a permutation is an arrangement of all or parts of a set of object. So the number of permutation of n object is n factorial. So meron naman yan sa calculator. So ang factorial ay dun sa baba ng mode. So shift x to the negative 1, yun yung factorial. So madali lang pag theorem number 3. So for example, in how many ways can 5 examinees be lined up to go inside the testing center? So, ang gagawin nyo lang, 5 factorial are equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, how many ways? Equal to 120 ways. Another example, in how many ways can 4 dating reviewees be seated in the review center without restriction? So, dyan sa example na to, hindi siya 4 factorial. So, since sinabi na 4 dating reviewees, times 2 pa siya, so ibig sabihin 8 factorial or 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, 8 factorial natin is equal to 40,320 ways. So, yun yung ating answer. 40,320 ways. For theorem number 4 is the permutation. So, the number of permutation of n distinct object taken r at a time is n factorial over n minus r factorial. Pag sinabi nating permutation, may arrangement yung object, then meron siyang important sa kanya yung ordering. Then meron yung kapag may mga restriction, so permutation siya. Then kalimitan naka-specific yung bibigay ng mga set dun sa kanyang example or mga problem. So, kagaya nito, example, in 1 year, 3 awards the research, teaching, and service will be given to a class of 25 graduate students in a statistics department. If each student can receive at most 1 award, how many possible selection are there? So, pag sinabi natin at most 1 award, ibig sabihin hanggang isa lang yung pwedeng i-award sa isang student. So, merong restriction. Then, kung makikita nyo din, yung 3 awards, sinet siya as research award, teaching award, and service award. So, tatlong naka-specify. So, kapag ganyan, siya ay permutation. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, 25 factorial over 25 minus 3 factorial or 25 factorial over 22 factorial. So, i-cancel natin yung 22 factorial. Ang solution na lang dyan is 25 times 24 times 23 or 13,800. So, yun yung sagot natin for this example. The next, for theorem number 5, the number of permutation of n object arranged in a circle is n minus 1 factorial or tinatawag natin tong circular permutation. So, kapag yung problem ay about sa mga circular, so siya ay theorem number 5 or n minus 1 factorial. So, for example, in how many ways can 6 students be seated in a round dining table? So, round dining table, ibig sabihin 6 minus 1 factorial or 5 factorial equal to 120 ways. So, yun yung sagot natin for theorem this example. The next, theorem number 6. So, the number of distinct permutation of n things of which n sub 1 are of one kind, n sub 2 of a second kind, or n sub k of a k kind. So, ito yung ating formula n factorial over n sub 1 times n sub 2 times up to n sub k factorial. So, yan yung ating theorem number 6. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, so for example, in a college football training session, the defensive coordinator needs to have 10 players standing in a row. So, among these 10 players, there are 1 freshman, 2 sophomores, 4 juniors, and 3 seniors. So, how many different ways can they be arranged in a row if only their class level will be distinguished? So, kapag may ganyang distinguished, ito yung gagamitin nating formula. Yung gagawin nyo lang dyan, n factorial, yung sa taas, sa numerator ay yung total, 10 factorial. Then, sa denominator natin, meron tayong 1 freshman, so 1 factorial, times 2 sophomores, 2 factorial, times 4 juniors, 4 factorial, times 3 factorial for senior. Dapat yung sum ng nasa denominator ay equal sa numerator. So, equal natin. So, 12,600 ways for this example. The next theorem number 7. So, the number of ways of partitioning a set of n object into R cell with n sub 1 element in the first cell, n sub 2 element in the second, and so forth. So, halos parehas lang yung formula ng theorem 6 at theorem number 7. So, pwedeng ganun lang yung, same lang yung magiging solution. And, nagkaiba lang, dito, n sub r, then dun sa theorem number 6 is n sub k. So, same pa din, n factorial over n sub 1 times n sub 2 up to n sub r factorial. So, ang difference niya, ito, tingnan natin sa example. So, in how many ways can 7 graduate student be assigned to 1 triple, 2 double hotel rooms during a conference? So, hindi kagaya nung sa theorem number 6 na kita mo na agad yung ilalagay mo na value dun sa formula. Hindi siya 7 factorial over 1 factorial times 2 factorial. Kasi ganun yung sa theorem number 6 na identify agad natin. Pero dito, sinabi ay sa 7 graduate student, isang triple, then dalawang double. So, ibig sabihin ng solution dito, 7 factorial over 3 factorial, isang triple, times 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Kasi dalawang double. So, dapat yung sum pa din ng nasa denominator ay equal sa 7 or dun sa numerator. So, kunin natin 7 factorial over 3 factorial times 2 factorial times 2 factorial equal to 210 ways. So, yun yung solution natin for this theorem number 7 or for this example. Then, theorem number 8 is the combination. So, ito yung pagkakaiba ng permutation sa combination. Sa combination, may arrangement pa din ng object, pero walang kwenta sa kanya yung ordering. Then, yung kanyang mga identification dun sa problem, naka-general yung pag-set. So, formula natin, n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. So, yan yung gagamitin natin. So, bali meron tayong sa calculator. So, pupuntahin nyo lang yung shift times for, yung shift times ay for permutation, then shift divide ay combination. So, yun, nasa calculator naman. So, example, how many ways are there to select 3 applicants from 8 equally qualified CIEs for a capacity planner position in a semiconductor company? So, kita naman natin sa problem na combination yung gagamitin natin since naka-general yung set nung example or nung problem. So, merong 8 equally qualified CIE, then magsiselect ng 3 applicant, any order. So, wala namang restriction na sinabi. So, ang gagawin nyo lang dyan sa calculator, na para mas madali, 8, tapos shift divide, yung 8C, tapos 3. Then equals 56 ways yung ating sagot. O kaya naman yung ating formula, 8 factorial over 3 factorial times 8 minus 3 factorial. So, ang lalabas pa din dyan is 56 ways. The next is the probability of an event. So the probability of an event A is the sum of the weight of all sample point in A. So therefore, the probability ng A is less than or equal to 1 but greater than or equal to 0. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na yung range lang ng probability natin ay from 0 to 1 or 0% to 100%. So yung probability ng null set natin is 0 and the probability ng sample space natin ay dapat ay equal sa 1. So ito naman is for mutually exclusive, pag-a-addin lang natin yung probability. So for example, so a coin is tossed twice. So what is the probability that at least one head occurs? So sa ganitong mga example, bago natin makuha yung probability, so kailangan muna natin kunin yung kanyang sample space at saka yung kanyang sample point. So kaya nga nung sa mga previous nating discussion, diniscuss natin para mas madali nating makuha yung probability niya. So dito, yung ating experiment, nag-toss ng coin na twice. So ibig sabihin sa first toss, ang lalabas ay head and tail. So gawa ulit kayo ng tree diagram. Then yung second outcome natin or second toss, yung head, pwedeng head and tail pa din, then head and tail. So ibig sabihin ng ating sample space S is equal to HH, HT, TH, T, and T. So, meron tayong 4 na sample points. Meaning, yung probability ng bawat sample point na yan ay equal. Equally distributed o uniform. So, kung meron tayong 4 na sample point, ang probability ng bawat isa ay 1 over 4 or 0.25. So, kunin natin. Sabi, what is the probability that at least one head occur? So, alin ba dyan? Pag sinabi natin at least one head, pwedeng isa, pwedeng dalawa. So, alin ba dyan yung may head? Ito. Ito. At ito. Yan yung merong head. Then, lahat ng yan ay 1/4 ang probability. So, para makuha natin yung at least one head, 1/4 para dun sa HH plus 1/4 para sa HT plus 1/4 para sa TH. So, equal to 3 over 4 or 0.75. So, yan yung ating answer. Another example, so a die is loaded in such a way that an even number is twice as likely to occur as an odd number. If E is the event that a number less than 4 occurs on a single toss of the die, so find the probability of E. So, kunin muna natin yung ating sample space since yung ating sample space natin ng die, isang die. So, ito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yung ating sample space. Then, event E, sabi, ang event E daw natin ay less than 4. Ang less than 4 natin is 1, 2, and 3. Pero, sabi sa example natin, yung even number daw ay twice na mag-occur kaysa sa odd number. So, ibig sabihin, dadagdagan natin yung ating sample space ng 2, 4, and 6. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong 9 na sample points na ang probability ng bawat isa is 1 over 9. So, para makuha natin yung probability ng probability ng E or number less than 4, ang 1 is 1 over 9 plus ang 2 ay even. Dalawang beses siya nag-occur. So, ibig sabihin 2 over 9 plus ang 3 ay add. So, 1 over 9. So, equal to 4 over 9 or so 4 over 9 natin is 0.4 44. Theorem number 9, if an experiment can result in any of n different equally likely outcome, and if exactly n of this outcome correspond to event A, then the probability of event A is n over n na maliit over n na malaki. So, yun yung ating formula for probability of A. So, for example, a statistic class for engineers consists of 25 industrial, 10 mechanical, 10 electrical, and 8 civil engineering student. If a person is randomly selected by the instructor to answer a question, so find the probability that the student chosen is an industrial engineering major. So, dun muna tayo sa A. So, para makuha natin yung probability ng industrial engineer or engineering major or probability ng I, kunin muna natin yung total engineers. So, 25 plus 10 is 35, plus 10 is 45, plus 8 is 53. Then, pwede na natin makuha yung probability na matatawag or mapipili is industrial engineering major. So, meron tayong 25 na industrial over sa total na 53, then yun yung probability. So, 25 over 53 is 0.47. Then, for letter B, a civil engineering or an electrical engineering major, pag-aadin lang natin yung civil at electrical. So, ilan ba yung civil natin? 8. Then, ilan ang electrical? 10. So, 8 plus 10 is 18 over total natin is 53. So, 0.3396 or 0.34 yung probability niya or 34%. So, yun yung ating theorem number 9 or the probability of event A is equal to n over n. So, bali meron tayong theorem 1 to theorem 9 na about sa counting of sample point and the probability of an event.